So there's been this Dr. Seuss drama, and I kind of want to get to the bottom of it and figure it out. And Young Rippa made a video about it, and I don't think that he understands. He says green eggs and ham is racist or something, but that's not what this is about. So before we watch his video, we're going to like educate ourselves. That's Biden. That's another thing. We're gonna educate ourselves on what this is all about. So here is an article from the National Post about the wrong illustrations that got 6 Dr. Seuss books canceled. So it wasn't all of Dr. Seuss. It was just 6 Dr. Seuss books. 2 of the 6 permanently pulled from publication currently rank as the world's best-selling children's book. Okay. So we have this image. This, you guys can't see my cursor. So the first guy on the left is a Chinese man who eats with sticks. And then magician doing tricks. Yeah, the rest of these I think are okay, but I think in this one image, it's the Chinese man who eats with sticks is like a problematic caricature. A page from And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, the 1937 work by Dr. Seuss will no longer be published due to, in part, to this page featuring an illustration of a Chinese man who eats with sticks. Dr. Seuss Enterprises, the official manager of the books published under moniker Dr. Seuss, announced Tuesday that it would no longer be publishing 6 Dr. Seuss titles because they portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong. The most popular of the 6 titles are the 1950s If I Ran the Zoo and the 1937 book And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, which was the first children's book published under the Dr. Seuss name by author Theodore Seuss. Giselle, as of March 2nd, which also happens to be the author's birthday, both books remained in the top 10 most popular children's titles on Amazon.com. The other titles no longer being published are McElligot's Pool on Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Eggs, Super, and The Cat's Quizzer, which were all released between 1947 and 1976. Yeah, so you got Asian stereotypes in this area, right to my right. As you can see, they're like carrying this caged animal on their head. What does it say? I'll hunt in the mountains of the Zomba Matants with helpers who wear their eyes at a slant and capture a fine, fluffy bird called the bustard, who only cats custard with sauce made of mustard, and also a very fine beast called the flustered, who only eats mustard with sauce made of custard. Okay. An illustration from If I Ran the Zoo. Dr. Seuss Enterprises did not specify which illustrations were offensive, but 4 of the titles contain cartoon depictions of Asian people, while 3 contain stereotypical portrayals of Inuit. If I Ran the Zoo features a young boy imagining a hunting expedition to the fictional land of Zombamatans, where locals wear their eyes at a slant. Other pages show the African island of Yurka, featuring squat African tribesmen with large hoops through their noses. And to Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street has its young protagonist imagining an increasingly fanciful street, parades that include a Chinaman who eats with sticks, and a raha with rubies, and 2 fur-clad figures being pulled by a reindeer. Eggs, I'd collected 302, but I still needed more, and I suddenly knew that the job was too big for one fellow to do, so I telegraphed north to some friends near Fa Zol, which is 10 miles or so just beyond the North Pole, and they all of them jumped in their Karamacide, which is sort of a boar made of sea leopard hide, which they sailed out to sea to go looking for Grice, which is sort of a bird which lays eggs on the ice, which they grabbed with a tool which is known as a squitz. I can't pronounce that because those eggs are too cold to be touched without which. Okay. So yeah, these are the Inuit looking figures depicted in Scrambled Eggs Super. McElligot's pool follows a boy imagining the far out things he'll catch while fishing in a stagnant pond, including Eskimo fish from beyond Hudson Bay. Scrambled Eggs has its young protagonist boasting about the increasingly rare eggs he would source for breakfast, including Mr. Struku Cuckoo, for which he would enlist the help of a birder band helper named Ali. The people of the fictional Arctic nation of Fazul are shown in clad furs and padding skin boots in order to harvest eggs from a grice. The Cat's Quizier is the most recent and least popular of the 6 books and appears to have gotten pulled because of a page 11 illustration of a yellow figure in a coolie hat with the caption, "How old do you have to be a Japanese?" Oh, okay, that's kind of yikes. Of the 6 problematic imagery in Beyond Zebra, it's probably the least obvious. The book catalogs a whimsical set of new letters in the alphabet and briefly features the Nazim of Bazim, a figure of unspecified nationality, riding a camel-like creature called a spasm. The 6 titles were selected after consultation with a panel of experts, according to Dr. Seuss Enterprises. The books will no longer be printed or licensed, meaning that the titles will also not be available for sales as ebooks. 30 years after his death, Theodore Seuss Giselle remains the world's top-selling children's author. Of the 20 best-selling children's book on Amazon right now, 15 of them are Dr. Seuss titles. The publisher's weekly ranking of top-selling children's show 5 Dr. Seuss books are currently in the top 10. Look at these guys. In recent years, however, Giselle has been targeted for imagery deemed stereotypical or out of date, including a 2014 scholarly work asserting that the Cat in the Hat is an elaborate mockery of black people. In 2017, when then First Lady Melania Trump gifted a collection of Dr. Seuss to a Massachusetts school, the books were returned by the librarian Liz Phipps Sarayo with a note that the literature was steeped in racist propaganda, caricatures, and harmful stereotypes. I'm unsure as to how the Cat in the Hat is an elaborate mockery of black people, but I would have to see something to confirm that. Of Giselle's decades-long portfolio, it's his advertising work and editorial cartoons drawn in the 1930s and 40s that contain the heaviest use of derogatory racial caricatures. One of the more notorious is a series of ads for the insecticide company Flit that features big-lipped Africans riding elephants and living in grass huts. Yeah, so that's really bad. All of these Asian people caricatures. The Waiting for the Signal from Home, published by Theodore Seuss Giselle just at the onset of Japanese-American internment in 1942. Like, Dr. Seuss gives us off some racist vibes, so maybe Cat in the Hat was like a racist dog whistle, but like I'm saying, it's not implausible, but I just don't know. I'm not confident enough to say it is. Yeah, this is pretty yikes, and I think that's about it. That's all we're going to read. Now we're going to watch this 4-minute video. So now we know, the information we know is that Dr. Seuss himself is not canceled. He's fucking dead. It's just 6 of his books that they're not continuing to publish and release, and they're not even like the super popular ones. So what's he gonna say?
He's not talked about in such a positive light, considering something about undertones and racism. We talked about this on the news.
You said he's a little low.
We also talked about this on Elijah's show, if I'm not mistaken, but for sure on News and Why It Matters, I believe we talked about it. And Dr. Seuss is seen as bad. Dr. Seuss bad. And some news came out the other day, which had to be fact checked because, God forbid, someone said Biden did something that was weird. And I'm looking at this here. Basically, the claim, as mentioned, says conservative voices have accused Biden of breaking a tradition by not mentioning Dr. Seuss. A Fox News.
Hold on, what website is this? What website is this? Where's his source?
Here. Basically, the claim.
I just see politics. Hold on.
Conservative voices have accused Biden of breaking a tradition by not mentioning Dr. Seuss. A Fox News article shared more than 400,000 times on Facebook.
They're not. He's not showing the source. What the hell is this?
The author from Read Across America. So basically, this whole Read Across America thing. It's a day dedicated encouraging children to read that has traditionally been synonymous with the children's author, Dr. Seuss. You know what's going on with this whole Dr. Seuss thing, and now they're saying that Dr. Seuss is racist or something like that. And that was not...
I mean, is Dr. Seuss racist? Some of his previous political cartoons kind of suggest that. He really liked drawing stereotypical caricatures of Asian people, so that's got to mean something, right? That's got to mean that's got to be indicative of something. I don't know. All right.
They even had to concede. Newsweek, they conceded that it was true. And what happened was, on that list in which Dr. Seuss was always on it, he's not on it anymore on this whole Read Across America thing. Now, of course, I'd make the argument that you shouldn't need the state sitting here validating what kids need to read or how they need to read or the fact that they need to read. But the whole idea is, and that's the criticism, is that with this whole leftist out of nowhere taking new aim at Dr. Seuss, because apparently
why can't I not hear
or something?
All of a sudden,
probably a couple of phobias and other isms.
There we go.
That are involved.
Now I hear.
But now, because of that, amidst this whole bullcrap,
you believe that Dr. Seuss was racist, and then he later changed his views. Yeah, the Dr. Seuss Foundation removed those books from circulation. That's what we read.
Because of traditionally, even Obama would mention the likes of Dr. Seuss, and now for the Read Across America Day, Dr. Seuss, aka Mr. Racist, I guess, is no longer included in their affairs, which is an interesting thing. But it does show what Biden is, or what his camp is all about.
Okay, so notice how he doesn't explain why. He just looks at the headline that says that they're not featuring Dr. Seuss anymore, and he freaks out, and he basically just blames this on leftism. But he doesn't decide to look any deeper. He doesn't want to understand why. He just, leftists are they're just crazy. They just do things just because they like to ruin things. He's always vilifying the left, and he doesn't understand why the left does what they do. It's very weird to me. He doesn't understand or even try to consider the motivations of the left. He just thinks that they're all kind of these crazy people who just want to ruin things. And people who watch YoungRippa and other creators like him who do this sort of fear-mongering thing, we saw with Geeks and Gamers yesterday, where he was like, once you're red-pilled, you'll see these leftists are crazy. They want to take away everything from you, like Mr. Potato Head. And it's just really dumb. This is the level of information checking that he's going into. It's very shallow. He like scrolled over the article a bunch, and he didn't actually read anything. He just said, "Oh, they're Read Across America no longer features Dr. Seuss. This is bad."
And a lot of stuff is political expediency, right? It's political and social expediency. And I'm not saying that ain't no other president has done that. It's just they have their topics and what have you that generally they want to be seen as in favor of, especially if they're trying to pin some nonsensical like equality bull crap or something like, hey, look at me, I'm the good guys, you're the bad guys.
Equality bullcrap. Equality is bullcrap. It's bad. I don't understand. I don't understand how you could say something like that and also be a person of color. I it really makes me wonder. That really makes me wonder to just say equality bullcrap. Like, I honestly, I think you of all people should be for equality. I think that's a good thing. I don't think that's bullcrap, and I don't think it's cool to call equality bullcrap. But that's Young Rippa. This is like the level he operates on.
They will do stuff like this as a statement. So it doesn't surprise me that Joe Biden would do something like this.
He's also blaming it all on Biden. Like, the Dr. Seuss committee thing themselves did this.
Like, don't let the state tell you. Like, and if you are putting your kids in indoctrination camps, get them out.
Indoctrination camps, public schools. When he says indoctrination camps, he means public schools. And we went over that as well.
Seuss now racist. And this day, I don't think, though, is synonymous to, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think this has anything to do with, like, the presidency. It's just they had chimed in on it. No, I don't think even the ones before, I think Obama did it. So the tradition wasn't even, like, that long. But it was a tradition nonetheless with Trump, I guess, and Biden and all of them that did it. And now he's not on it. And the people are looking at the fact, well, this is a timing thing that has to do with this whole racial bullcrap that's going on.
Racial bullcrap.
His work being very, very racist because apparently green eggs and ham means...
Nobody said anything about green eggs and ham, you fucking idiot. All right, we are done with that. Anyways, as we could see, YoungRippa59 is one shallow motherfucker who doesn't look into anything he really talks about, or at least this Dr. Seuss situation. He didn't look into it, he didn't understand it, and all he did was throw his hands up in the air and say, "Oh, this is the leftist bullcrap where they're ruining my favorite things, and they are evil, and they're out here trying to indoctrinate your kids," and... yeah, I don't know. If you're getting political opinions from this man, I think you need to reevaluate your life because he is incredibly shallow. Anyways, that'll be it for this segment. Thank you for watching.